Beloved of God, I want you to note that we have the responsibility as believers to help others come into rest. The Bible says, "He that has entered into his rest is ceased from his struggles." Well, so when people come into rest, they don't struggle. So we have the responsibility to help our brother, to help our sisters to come into rest. If we don't help them come into rest, they will not rest. And as long as they are not resting, it will be hard for them to be fruitful. So why do we help one another to come into rest? We help them to come into rest so that fruitfulness can be easy for them, so that it can be easy for them to be a blessing to others. That's it. Are you getting what I'm saying? That's the significance of helping others to come into rest. What do I mean? If you are, by grace, if God has placed you in a place where you can earn maybe 500,000 per month or more, and then you know your brother, you have a brother or a sister who is also a lover of God, but he or she earns maybe 50,000 per month. Are you there? You can see the margin between what you earn and what he earns. Are you there? If you see he doesn't have something, are you getting what I'm saying? You can help him with that. Maybe he doesn't have a phone. You can buy a phone and give it to him, so that at least in that area he will rest. Because you see, the more we are not resting, the more harder it becomes for us to be fruitful. So when you reach out to your brother, to your sister, and you help them, you are helping them to come into rest in certain areas of their life. Imagine you have 5 phones in your house, and you have your brother who's sleeping on the mat. Give him one phone. Give him one phone. By giving him one phone, he is no longer thinking of how to buy a phone. So at least when it comes to phone, he will rest. That struggle of I need to buy a phone will stop. By so doing, he will have more time to focus on kingdom. Are you getting what I'm saying? So we need to understand the place of helping one another in bringing brethren into rest. Are you there? Do you know how God will do this thing? God will bless one to raise many. But if that one that God has blessed doesn't understand his role in God's agenda, in God's his role in God's end time plan, he will not do the needful. But instead of doing the needful, he will be flaunting what he has. That's why you see people, they flaunt what they have. They want to show you that they are more expensive. Meanwhile, that's not why God has placed them where they are. You will have to help one another come into rest. Are you getting what I'm saying? Because we cannot be fruitful without first coming into rest. It is in rest or from rest that we can bear fruit. So there are many believers who are not fruitful, not because they don't want to, but because they are not in rest. And brethren who are supposed to help them come into rest in certain areas of their life, they are not helping. It can just be that one of the two children of this person, you can just say, okay, one of them, don't worry, I'll be paying the school fee of one of them. At least to a point, you have helped that your brother, you have helped that your sister to come into rest. He's no longer thinking of how to pay the school fee of this person. Maybe you have a school. And then you have your brother or your sister struggling to send his children to school. Put the children in your own school. Are you getting what I'm saying? If you can't allow them run free, just tell them if your school fees, for example, if it is 100,000, you can ask them to pay a very little amount, maybe just 30,000. By so doing, you have helped that your brother to come into rest. You came to fellowship, somebody's shoe is somebody's putting on something that is awkward, and you have enough. Give the person. By so doing, you are helping the person come into rest. I hope you know that the more we think of our needs, the more we chase our needs, the more distracted we'll become. That's why one of the ways to help ministers is to be a blessing to them. By so doing, you are also helping them come into rest. Are you getting what I'm saying? Just imagine Pastor Salem now. Just imagine that I'm hooked up in one school. Maybe I'm teaching in one school, and then I will leave I will leave home before 8, and I will come back by 6. You think I will have time to be teaching the way I'm teaching like this? I won't have time. I teach in the morning, and then after some time, between 9 and 2, you will also see me teaching live on the Facebook. Are you getting what I'm saying? And then with other engagement, other things I do. You think if I'm busy chasing money here and there, you think I will be able to do what I'm doing? No. So the more we help people to come into rest, the more they bear fruit. Are you there? So we have to be conscious of it. So when you give to the things of God, when you give to the ministers of God, what you are doing is you are helping them come into rest so that they can bear more fruit. Are you there? There are people that they go, it's not like they don't love God, but they have to survive. So they go out early in the morning and then they are coming back past 7 in the night. There is no rest. There is no rest. And then they are coming back past 7. And then they just lie on their bed like this. Then they remember then maybe they now remember what the Lord told them in the morning. And now it's already late. They just say, Lord, Father, thank you, please just help me, and they sleep off. Next day again, they have to be on their way. They will leave home before 7 and they will come back home after 7. I've done that kind of work before in Lagos. But during those periods, I can't even think of teaching. Teaching what? There's no rest. A man of God that is not resting cannot bless you. So if you one of the ways to help a minister of God is to do everything you can do to bring him into rest. Make it easy for him to rest. Are you getting what I'm saying? For example, just imagine now that this morning I don't have data on my phone. I'm not going to teach. One thing I don't do is I don't borrow things. I don't borrow airtime. If I don't have airtime, I don't have. I'll just leave it like that. If I don't have data and I don't have money to do data, I won't come online. That's just it. You will be waiting for teacher. I won't even come online. Are you getting what I'm saying? Why? Because that thing to drive that thing is not there. So you must understand that when you are helping people, are you there? When you are helping your brethren, and it's not only ministers. When God opens your eyes to see a need, do what you can do to meet the need. It's not coincidence that God is opening your eyes to see this person needs it. It's not coincidence. We have to help one another come into rest. Are you getting what I'm saying? Are you getting what I'm saying? I was speaking to I think Minister Christrock yesterday. I was telling him, I said, ministry is not about money. A minister, if you really want to serve God, you don't focus on money, because if you are focusing on money, you will discover that thing will become a mountain. It will hinder you from actually doing the will of God. That is the truth. Because there are some people that they will never help you to come into rest. Are you there? And they will still be on your neck, questioning you and then querying you for not yielding fruit. Don't question a man for not yielding fruit if you are not helping that man to come into rest. There are some ministers now who are not bearing fruit, and their members are responsible for that thing because they are not helping that man of God to come into rest. They are not giving to him, and now the man is early in the morning will run to the farm because he has family to take care of. He will run to the farm, and sometimes he will even come late for Bible study. And the same member will say, "Is this a pastor? He's always coming late." What have you done to help him come into rest? That's the thing. That's the truth. What have we done to help him come into rest? I think early this year I was speaking to this teaching. Now everybody needs to listen to it. I just hope we have more people listening to this thing this morning. I was speaking to Minister Substance maybe early this year, maybe around January or December. I said, at this point, I'm not supposed to be using my money to do data, but I still use my money to do data. Are you there? So if I'm looking at people, I won't even be ministering the way I'm ministering. That's the truth. At this point, I tell you the truth. At this point, I still use my money to do data. When a lot of people knows that most of the things I do are online. Are you getting what I'm saying? Yet nobody is led to say, okay, let me just be sending data to this person constantly every month or every week. Nobody is led in that direction. Are you there? So we are sometimes the people are responsible for the shortcomings of their minister. It's just because of my own commitment to God. I'm not. What people do doesn't have. I did not allow those things to influence my own commitment to God. If not for that, I will not be as consistent as I am. If I want to serve God by the input of men, I won't even be as consistent as this. We have to help one another. Is it the one that is not even helping the ministers of God that will now help his brothers and sisters? Some of us, we prefer to pour our food away than to give it to that our neighbor. You see the children crying for food, but you are pouring rice away just because you want to show that you are living in abundance. That's lack of wisdom. Are you there? Let us help one another come into rest. Help the ministers of God. Let them come into rest. Are you there? Help your brother, your sister to come into rest. Sometimes it can just be that your friend told you that, oh, she has not even eaten today. He has not eaten today. And you have something you can give to. Are you there? Give him something. Okay, just manage this. Just use this. Are you there? At least for that day, that your brother, that your sister will rest. The thought of how do I even survive today will no longer be there. Will no longer be there. Even at this level, there are some people that most of our people are students. When I just reach out to them or they call me, sir, the way it is, there's no even food, or there's no food, and I want to do exam tomorrow. I have to say, okay, reach out to the secretary, even if it is 5,000 or 3,000 or even 2,000, send it to them. At least, even if it's just to survive for that night, at least for that night they will rest. It is in rest that we will remember God, not in our struggles. And that's what this world is doing. And Christians are not thinking, they are not discerning. This world is bringing people to a point where they will not rest. And then there are a lot of quotes, struggle. You have to hustle and struggle, hustle and struggle. Don't you know that the more you hustle, the more you struggle, the lesser you come into rest? And in that your struggling state, if you be living your daily life struggling, I can assure you, you will never be fruitful. Is it a man that left in the morning before 7 and is coming around 9 that will be fruitful? What's the time to be fruitful? How? And is busy from morning till night. How will he be fruitful? How? Will that kind of man even think of being a blessing? I remember when I finished secondary school and I went to Lagos. I know what it means to be out of rest. I know. Sometimes we are on our way around 4 in Lagos. And one strange thing about Lagos is around 4 a.m. you already see the market women there putting lamp beside what they are selling. Pepper sellers are there, tomato sellers. Sometimes I'm wondering, are they selling pepper to ghosts? Because 4 a.m. they're already there with their pepper, tomato, and other things. And I'm wondering, what are these people doing? Is it those kind of people that will rest? Or people like me at that time? Just assume that is still that kind of schedule I'm running. I won't be a blessing to you now. So the more we help our people to come into rest, the more blessing they become. And if I'm saying that that's your brother, that's your sister. If you help him come into rest, suddenly you can see him becoming a blessing, becoming a huge blessing. I you get what I'm saying? It will become a huge blessing to a generation. There's something in them that can help a generation. But that thing has not really emerged because we have not helped that person to come into rest. If you want to see somebody maximizing his potentials, bring the person into rest. Bring the person into rest. Once he comes into rest, you won't imagine what he will do for the Lord. I tell you the truth. So fruitfulness is beyond just prayer. There are practical steps we must take to help one another come into rest. Are you there? Are you getting what I'm saying? There are people that they will never give until you tell them. I say, you do this. That's when they will now do it. They can never be led to give in their life. Are you there? And then they are the first person to say, look at this minister. Could it be that that's your pastor who is not consistent, who is not doing what he's supposed to do? Could it be that you are even part of the reason he's not doing that? You think he will prefer to be preaching, leaving his family hungry? He will leave the altar and go to farm and go and get money. Are you getting what I'm saying? That's the truth. So members must learn to help their ministers. Not just YMFL, everybody. We must learn in your various congregations. Learn to be a blessing to your ministers. You don't have the right to accuse a man of God that you are not helping to come into rest. If he's not consistent, although it's not good to be consistent, but you don't have the right to judge him. The question is, what have you done to bring him into rest? Are you there? I know certain ministers of God that very early in the morning they go to farm. Whereas if their members have helped them to come into rest and they don't need to go to farm, there are many things they'll be doing in that morning period. They can be doing daily teachings. And me that I'm even doing teachings is not because there are so much rest. It's just because of my own commitment. So look at, even at that, I'm still this consistent. What if I now come into full rest? What will happen? It means that I may probably be teaching from morning till night. But there are some people that they cannot do what I'm doing. Not because I'm better than them, but because they have more responsibility. Maybe because me, now I'm not married, so it's easy for me to still say, well, since it's only me, whether I eat or not, it doesn't matter. But when you get married, it's no longer about whether I eat or not. If you don't eat, won't your wife, your children, will they not eat? Will they not eat? Will they not be fine? Let's be deliberate. Let's understand that when it comes to rest, we have a responsibility to help one another come into rest. The one that is preaching every day is helping people come into rest, because the more of God's knowledge you have, the more rest you attain. And those people too who are getting blessed should also help one another, including the minister, to come into more rest. Because the more can I tell you something? The secret of bearing fruit in the kingdom is rest. That's the truth. The secret, many ministers are now becoming forced, not because that was how they started, but because they needed to survive. So they had to come up and lie to the members, this to get money, because the members are not yielding. So some of them, they have to devise a means. And in their attempt to carve out something, they went out of the will of God. You must know that if you don't help your shepherds come into rest, and they go astray, you will suffer. Because they will still come and be teaching you, and you'll be jotting things down till you land in trouble. Learn to help one another to what? To come into rest. I see some churches, big people there. I was speaking with one of them, one of their key leaders who is a youth, and then he told me how that there are people in their church. He was telling me people that can buy more than 40 million car, and yet this key leader who is a youth doesn't even have a bike that he can use. He's struggling to pay his school fees. I was speaking to him. I was not happy when he was telling me those things. I said, with all the way big as big your church is, and those members you say you have, he said he doesn't even understand. People are not helping one another. The problem is we want to face our family alone, me and my family. A man feels that his responsibility is just his wife and his children. Are you there? Any other person is not his business. That's not how to live life. Just assume that Jesus lived and he lived for himself. Do you think today we'll be calling the name of Jesus? What you do to yourself is not impact. Impact is measured by what you do to others. Be a blessing. Help somebody come into rest. Some of us, we know how to disturb ministers, but we don't know how to bless them. That's the truth. We can disturb them from now till eternity, but we are not always led to be a blessing to them. I have a lot of experiences with Jesus. I have a lot of experience, but I don't used to count it, because for me, ministry is not about gain. Are you getting what I'm saying? That's it. I just thank God for for what He has taught me. If not that I have been taught of the Lord, I cannot even be as committed as this. I can't be, because I will be looking at the reactions of people. So it's not only ministers. Let's help our brothers. That sister close to you, help her. That brother close to you, help him. Somebody, you were expecting somebody to call you, and he told you, he said, I'm sorry, I could not call because I don't have airtime. What is hard in you? Just send it 200 airtime to the person. You say, okay, you don't have airtime. Okay, no problem. Hey, what I want to say is, you just know. Are you there? When you see a need, at least try to meet it in the little way you can. That's all. The Lord bless you in Jesus' name.